doing a tutorial with a bit of a brighter blue, very kind of sparkly, and I just really freaking love this blue paired up with these kind of warm, kind of smoky look or colors, and I'm just so over the moon with this look, and I just love it. I'm using some of the new NYX Prismatic shadows. I only have 3, that's all I could get my hands on at my local Ulta because they're all pretty much sold out or broken, and their site online is sold out of some of the other colors, so I definitely want to get some more, but this is the main star of the show. This one is called Blue Jeans, and I will just swatch it for you. See, you can see there, and I will just show you secondary swatch, how pigmented that is. They're insanely pigmented. They remind me a lot of the Makeup Geek foil shadows, just a little less in cost. I don't know about the size comparison. I haven't really gone into like details of like comparing both of them, but they do remind me of, I'm not going to say that these are dupes for them yet because I don't really know. So yeah, I like this look with the blue and the warm tones and a little bit of that sort of like iridescent purple, which is actually kind of like a silvery color, and that's another prismatic shadow in the color Frostbite. If I can get it open, it looks like this. Looks like nothing like silver. Yeah, okay, great, whatever. But it's actually a really nice silver with a kind of lilac iridescent purple to it, so it's not just a plain silver, which I think it works well. They play off really well together. So enough blabbling, let's get into the look. I hope that you enjoy it. So I've already applied my primer and a little layer of concealer just to kind of smooth everything out. So what I'm going to do is take this eyeshadow by NYX. This is the Nude Matte Shadow in Leather and Lace with a big fluffy crease brush. Oops, I just dropped a bunch of my brushes. But this is going to be sort of our transition shade, so just kind of messily throw it up on the lid. It doesn't need to be perfect or precise. I'm just sort of creating a base before I go in with some of my other colors. And then I'm going to move on to my brow highlight. I'm going to use this kind of ivory shade. It's the color Reason from the Eyes Out the Window palette by Stila. It's the Mind one. They look like this. I'll show you. This is the exterior packaging. So it's this light one because it matches my skin tone. Any shade that matches your skin tone would work for this. And I'm just going to apply this underneath my brow bone. And then also a little bit right in this inner pocket just to create a bit of lightness, just to keep everything sort of light and bright in these areas. This is called Blue Jeans, and it's one of the NYX Prismatic shadows. Very, very similar to the foil shadows by Makeup Geek. A little bit cheaper and just as pigmented, I think. That's all I'm wearing here. No base or anything like that. And I'm going to use a flat brush, something that looks like this. This is what it looks like on the side. Very dense, packed bristles. I feel like it picks up the product really well. So what I'm going to do is kind of pick up some, like swipe it, and then kind of smush it gently, because these, I've seen a lot of these in store broken because they're just that creamy. Very pigmented. And I'm going to take a tissue because I had just a little bit of fallout on the other eye, and I've already done my concealer, so just take that and just pack it on. And I'm going to leave this inner part bare for another shadow, just to kind of highlight. Just applying it. And I'm staying also below the crease. Look at that. That is insane. Look at how pigmented that is for just $6. It's crazy ridiculous. And I'm doing a patting motion, not swiping. I'm patting to get the most color payoff applied to the lid. And then I'm going to kind of just make sure that I can kind of wedge this right up into the crease where it meets the lid meets the crease. Not too high, but just so that there isn't a gap between crease and lid with this shadow. Alright, so we'll come back to that in a moment. But what I'm going to do is take a blending brush. This is a Sigma E25 blending brush. It looks like this, and mine is kind of dirty and messy. But I'm going to be working with a couple warm tone shadows by Makeup Geek. The first one is Latte. And they're all going to be matte. This is kind of like a light tan with a bit of a reddish tone, and I'm going to apply this very lightly right on the edge of that blue. Again, kind of staying in my crease. I'm not going to go up too high with this. Most of the product on the outer part of the eye, and then blend whatever's left on the brush towards the center and inner part of the eye. And I'm going to go right over that with the next shadow by Makeup Geek, and this one is called Frappe or Frappe. Again, it's just Very similar to the one I just used, which is Latte, but a little bit more red. And again, still matte. And tapping off the excess because these are very pigmented matte shadows. And kind of just going right over that. And then I'm going to soften this up before I go with a darker shade, again with that sort of transition shade that I used first with the same fluffy brush. I'm going to go around the edges just to kind of soften any harsh lines because you want this to be very well blended and sort of like a gradient effect where it's darker here and it fades to your light brow bone color. Alright, so then I'm going to switch to something a little bit smaller and a little bit rounder, which this is the brush I'm going to be using, and it's the Morphe S12, which is this one, and this is the one I was just using. And I'm going to go in with the Makeup Geek eyeshadow in Cocoa Bear, which is, again, matte, but definitely much more red in tone compared to Frappe, as you can see. So, tapping off the excess onto a tissue because this is very intense, this Cocoa Bear. And I want most of the color here, and then I'm going to kind of fade inwards with it. Just cleaning out the edges again. Alright, so we'll come back to some more crease stuff here in a moment. I'm going to take a pencil brush. This is the MAC 219, and I'm taking Cocoa Bear again, the deepest of the three that I used, and I'm going to apply this to my lower lash line, and I'm going to kind of smoke this out and go a little bit deeper than I normally would have because I just like that sort of smokiness that I got here. I think it looks really good with after you put the mascara on. It looks so good. Okay, take that same brush, wipe it off really well, and I'm going to add a little bit of Latte to kind of blend out what I just did with Cocoa Bear, so it's not so harsh. And we'll come back to this again here in a moment. Okay, so for this sort of like glowy, sort of purpley tone, I think it's so beautiful. I love it. This is another prismatic shadow. This is called Frostbite. And it's a silver, but it has a purple sort of duochrome to it. It's really, really beautiful, very soft, and I just like that sort of glowy effect that it gives. So I'm going to take some of that with a small detail brush, and I'm going to apply this to the inner part of the eye where it's blank, and I'm also going to kind of meet up into a little bit of that blue. So we're just going to kind of pat this right here in this inner part. Isn't that such a pretty color? And then I'm also going to kind of overlap a little tiny bit of that blue. Not a whole heck of a lot, but just a little bit. And I'm also going to take some of that same silver shadow and bring it down into this inner part of the eye, just to kind of illuminate this lower area as well. And it just adds such a pretty pop of color, and I think this purple tone plays off really well with that blue. And speaking of blue, we have to definitely touch this up just a little bit, so take the same brush that you used before to apply it, and I'm just going to kind of lightly pat right onto the lid and just kind of intensify this. Oh, it looks so pretty. If you hear any weird noises, it is extremely windy out there, and I can feel like how the wind is pushing up against the windows. It sounds scary. Okay, so then we have to just do a little finishing touch with the crease, and I'm going to take this brush. This is the Sigma Blending E36. It's one of those little wispy brushes. And what I'm going to do is take a little bit more of Latte, and I'm going to soften out this lower part, but I'm also going to kind of bring it so that it meets up into this outer part of the eye, and then I'm just going to kind of go in and just make sure that this whole area is defined and that it matches this other eye. And you can do that with a crease brush. It doesn't have to be something like this. You can use whatever you've got. And I'm going to take a little bit more of Frappe, which is still that reddish tone, but not as intense as Cocoa Bear. The Cocoa Bear is such a gorgeous color. I love it. And I'm just going to kind of clean this up and just make sure everything looks good. Go back and soften it with your original transition crease brush that you use, just to kind of make sure that everything is very well blended. And then what I like to do is take my brush that I use for the blue and make sure that there aren't any spaces. When I do that, just tilt my head back a bit And I'm able to see where this blue meets up into my actual like socket bone right there. So that when you look, it just kind of fades into that sort of tan shade. Makes sense, right? Okay. Now for liner, I'm going to keep it super simple and very thin and just kind of keep the emphasis on lots of mascara and that blue color. So I'm going to go in with some gel liner. This is the Bobbi Brown gel liner in black ink with the tiniest eyeliner brush that I have, which is the 760 brush from Delium Tools. And I'm going to tightline with this as well, and I'm also going to just stick really close to my lash line. Just at the base of the lash, create some thickness there. Alright, so I need to add a little bit of color to my waterline. I don't want to do black, but I want to kind of stick with those brown tones and keep that sort of richness to the look. So I'm going to use my NYX Jolie liner in brown. I really, really love this liner. It's like so, so good, and it's very creamy. Apply that to my inner rim and the lower lash line. And then I'm also going to take my pencil brush, the MAC 219, with a little bit more Cocoa Bear and just kind of smudge that pencil out just a little bit. Okay, so now mascara. I'm going to use my Lash Discovery on the bottom because it's my favorite for the lower lash line, and then Maybelline Lash Sensational. You could do false eyelashes, but I kind of like this whole look with the lashes. I don't think I really need it today. So we're going to do it, and I'll meet you back. Alright, so everything is finally complete. I've added my blush, and I will just kind of tell you what they are. I used the Makeup Geek blush in Infatuation, which is one of my very favorites from the Makeup Geek blush line. Love this. It's a blush that I can wear with literally everything. It gives me a nice kind of warm glow to the cheeks, or warm look, no glow. It's matte. The glow that you're seeing is a couple of products. The Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana, which looks like this. It's the big old one that you can find at the drugstore. And then I mixed it with a little bit of my highlighting powder that's in the IT Cosmetics My Sculpted Face palette. It's this white sort of shimmery shade. Very shimmery compared to the Wet n Wild, which this is more of a natural everyday, but I wanted a little bit more today, so I figured why not mix the two, and I love the combo. Then I have taken some photos that I've already inserted with a deeper lip, and in that photo I was wearing the Almay Smart Shade Butter Kiss in the Nude Light Medium, which looks like this. It's a little bit of a deeper color. Like how these feel really nice and comfortable. So that's what I was wearing in the first photo. And then in the second photo, which is what I'm wearing now, is this mixed with the Smashbox Be Legendary Gloss in Pink Lady, which is just like a kind of flesh tone nude color. Kind of tones down a bit of that sort of, bit of like a plummy kind of berryish shade that you get, the tone of this. Tones it down a little bit, but it doesn't take away from it. So I think I like the combo of the two together than just this on its own with this eye look. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that look, and if you try it out, please let me know. I would love to know what you think about these new prismatic shadows. Do you own any of the other colors? I only have 3 of them because that's the only ones that I could get my hands on at the store, and a lot of them were sold out online. So I will put the link to the Ulta website if you kind of want to browse and see what colors are available, if you're interested in maybe purchasing some, and just kind of wait around to see if they are stocking them quickly, or check your local stores if you're interested. But I do really like them. I think they're very pigmented and very, very easy to work with. So that is it. I enjoy the look. I hope that you do too. Let me know what your comments are, what you think about these shadows, the look, and yeah, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you join my YouTube family if you haven't subscribed already. And feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's at GlamourByLexi. And I wish you a very fabulous day, weekend. Not sure when I'm posting this, and I will see you in my next video.